Welcome to OJ Studios. I hope you enjoy Punishment by Olivia Julius. Chapter 11 Breakfast. I woke up to my mom and dad packing their suitcases and getting things ready for the final leg of our journey. I slowly got up and started to walk to the bathroom, when Mom stopped me and handed me the clothes she wanted me to wear for the day. I let out a soft sigh and took the clothes without argument. I knew at this point arguing would be pointless. Instead, I just headed to the bathroom. I knew better than believe that I was going to get through this without having to wear girls' clothes. I put the clothes on the counter and wished that Mom would have thought of something at least more tomboyish for the farm. A pair of pants would be better than wearing a dress. But instead, Mom gave me a red dress that had a black sash that wrapped around me below my chest. Also falling out was a pair of purple underwear and pair of white tights. I decided not to argue and began to put on the dress. In my head I started to wonder if this is what girls must deal with whenever they get dressed up for an important occasion. I looked in the mirror and sure enough the girl looked back at me. I sighed and picked up the pair of tights from the floor and looked at them trying to decide if I really wanted to wear them or not. I walked back outside choosing not to wear the tights and walked over to Mom so she could tie the sash into a neat little bow. I stood facing away from her as she took the two ends and began tying. "You should have put your tights on first," she whispered in my ear. "Do I have to?" I asked, sighing loudly. She was quiet until she was finished with the bow. "I think you would look lovely wearing tights with that dress," she said as she pointed to the bathroom. Sighing loudly, I got up. Mom made me put the tights on by myself to show her that I could. I tried a few times to figure out how to put on the tights, but with a little guidance from Mom I was able to put them on without putting a hole in them. Mom handed me a pair of dress shoes and I do have to admit the dress shoes did take a little help, but after a few tries I got them handled by myself. "You're becoming a very good girl," Mom said as I smiled once I got the shoes fastened the right way. I froze, hoping that I wouldn't be known as a girl for the rest of my life. I started for the door, but Mom called me back over to the bed. She motioned for me to sit, and I sat facing her wondering what she was going to do. She grabbed a small bag out of her suitcase and from that bag she took out a small pink tube. "This is lip gloss," she announced, opening it and showing it to me. I recoiled back and shook my head. "I don't want it," I spoke. "Too bad," Mom said. "Every little girl wants to wear makeup. It makes them feel grown up." "Do I have to?" I pleaded. "Unless you want to wear a girl's uniform to school," Mom said, shrugging. I sighed a little and closed my eyes, allowing for Mom to put the pink lip gloss on my lips. "That wasn't so bad, was it?" Mom asked. I began to lick the strawberry flavor gloss from my lips, but Mom stopped me. "Don't you take it off," she warned. I looked at her funny. "It tastes like strawberry and yet I am not allowed to eat it. Girls are weird." We walked downstairs to the breakfast room. I scanned the area for Brittany and could not find her. I sighed a little, not sure if I was relieved that she was not here or if I was missing her. I went ahead and went to the buffet and started grabbing food and putting it on my plate. I got about halfway down when I felt two arms come around me and squeeze me. "It's you," I heard, accompanied with a loud squeal. Behind me. I managed to keep the food on my plate and turned around to find Brittany smiling, waiting for me to hug her back. I put my plate down, wrapped my arms around Brittany as she came in for another squeeze. "Happy birthday," I managed to say, suddenly remembering that today was her birthday. "Thanks," she said, practically screaming with excitement. "I cannot wait for the party. I wish you could come too." "I know, I wish I could too," I said, more to please my parents than anything. There was no way I would go to a girl's birthday party. Brittany was about to say something else when she was stopped by her mother, reminding her that I was holding up the line. "I'll talk to you soon," Brittany said as she hurried to get into line in front of her mom. I grabbed the rest of my food and walked over to a large round table with enough chairs to fit both my family and Brittany and her mom. I wanted to sit in between my parents but was forced to sit on the end next to where Brittany would be sitting. I ate a little bit of undercooked bacon as Brittany sat down in the seat in front of me with a plate full of pancakes. Brittany drowned her pancakes with syrup. She then took her fork and started to devour the whole stack of pancakes. "I wish you could come to my birthday party," Brittany said in between large bites of pancake. "It's going to be fun. We're going to go swimming and have some cake, and Mom says we can have a foosball tournament." Her party did seem fun, but I had to remind myself that the party would be full of girls. Once we both finished eating, our parents allowed us to go back to the arcade for one last game of foosball before I had to leave to go to Aunt George's house. We ran out of the breakfast room and bought another ball, and we started to play before our parents could even leave the breakfast room. Once our parents got down to the arcade, we were already 2 games in, and we tied 1 win each. The last game was going to determine who was the best foosball player between us. "Just one more game," Brittany begged when our parents tried to tell us to finish up. "We need to know who's the best player." "One more game," Amanda Mom said. "Then we gotta go. Your dad is already taking the bags out to the car and Aunt Georgia is waiting for us to come." "Okay," I said before dropping the ball into the slot and letting it roll into the field before instantly spinning my guys, rocketing the ball into Brittany's goal. "Nice," she said, giggling. At the end she ended up beating me 20 points to 18. I shook her hand and congratulated her on her victory. She pulled me into a big hug and started to tear up a little. "But now this means that you have to go," she said mournfully. "I'm sorry," I said, and before I realized it, I hugged her back. Mom came from behind me and put her hand on my shoulder. I knew it meant I had to go with her. I knew that Dad was probably already in the car waiting for us. "Bye," I said to Brittany. "Bye," she said, hugging me again before skipping off back to her room. I looked up to Mom as she smiled down to me. "Let's go, honey," Mom said, leading me out to the car. Aunt George's farm is located just 10 miles south of the Iowa and Missouri border. Her 2-story house sat in the middle of her 100-acre farm where she lived with her only daughter and my cousin Rebecca, who was now a senior in high school. My Uncle Tom died in an accident 2 years ago, leaving Aunt Georgia and Rebecca alone on the farm. As we arrived, Rebecca came to the car and greeted Mom and Dad. "And this must be Amanda," she said, smiling. She was told that I was being punished in the details about the punishment, but seeing me wearing the very girly attire made the punishment more real. I wanted to escape, but Mom forced me to walk into the house where Aunt Georgia sat at her dining room table putting candy into plastic eggs for tomorrow morning's party. "Oh my Amanda, don't you look gorgeous in your adorable dress," Aunt Georgia said, standing up to give me a kiss and to get a good look on what her temporary niece looked like. I wanted to get away, but Mom chimed in and soon everyone was complimenting me on how pretty I was. I wanted to run away, but I could not, and I was now stuck at what I thought was the full brunt of the punishment. But of course, there was another turn that I did not see coming. "So is Amanda entering the Spring Princess competition this year?" Aunt Georgia asked as she kept looking me up and down. "We don't have a proper Easter dress for her yet," Mom said. "That's one thing Gracie didn't have for us to borrow." I could see Aunt Georgia's eyes widen as she grinned from ear to ear. "Then I think it's time we got her one," she spoke. I stood in shock as the realization of their evil plan took place.